Early 13th century. Genghis Khan unites the scattered Mongol tribes and forges them into the Mongol Empire. Its army is an overpowering, disciplined war machine that instantly strikes fear into any opponent, backed by intelligence capabilities extraordinary for its time. By 1219, the Mongol Empire had already subjugated northern China, Siberia, and all the steppes to the Caspian Sea. The Khwarezmian Empire was one of the largest and wealthiest states in the Islamic world, spanning vast territories from modern-day Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan to Iran and Afghanistan, controlling some of the most important trade routes of the era. The empire was ruled by Sultan Ala ad-Din Muhammad II. After conquering the neighboring Karakitan Khanate, Genghis Khan attempted to establish trade relations with Khwarezm and sent a caravan of envoys and merchants. The caravan arrived at the border city of Otrar, where the governor Inalchuk detained it, accused the merchants of espionage, and executed part of the caravan. In response, Genghis Khan sent new envoys, 2 Mongols and 1 Muslim, demanding an explanation and punishment of those responsible. The Sultan shaved the beards of both Mongols and beheaded the Muslim, then sent them back to Genghis Khan. This was a direct and brazen violation of the diplomatic norms of the time, effectively a declaration of challenge. Genghis Khan took it as a personal insult. Within 2 years, the entire Khwarezmian Empire was completely destroyed. Given the size and strength of Khwarezm, it remains one of the most rapid and devastating conquests in the medieval world. Napoleon Bonaparte, French emperor and military commander, had accumulated enormous power in Europe by the early 19th century. Brilliant campaigns in Italy and Austria had inflated his already oversized confidence beyond reason. In 1812, Napoleon marches his 600,000-strong Grande Armée into Russia with a simple plan: force a decisive battle, crush the Russian army quickly, seize key cities, and leave the Russian Tsar with no choice but to negotiate from a position of total weakness. Well, something went wrong. The Russian army, whether out of genuine indecision or a deliberately smart strategy, keeps retreating deeper into the country, avoiding major engagements and stretching the enemy thinner with every mile. From the outside, it looks like a mouse running from a cat. The longer the mouse runs, the more exhausted the cat gets, burning through resources along the way. But the cat doesn't stop. He can already see the mouse cornered against the wall. After several battles, Napoleon closes in on Moscow and enters the largest battle of the war. The Battle of Borodino, a brutal meat grinder in which the Russian army paid an enormous price through the sheer courage of its soldiers, losing around 45,000 men in a single day, but inflicting nearly as many losses on Napoleon's army in return. The Russian army retreated, and Napoleon's path to Moscow lay open, but this did not mark the beginning of his victory. When Napoleon reached Moscow, he found an empty city. After Borodino, Kutuzov, the commander of the Russian army, had pulled back and was preparing to meet Napoleon with a defensive battle for the city. At the last moment, he made the decision to surrender Moscow without a fight and withdraw his army southeast to Tarantino. The population had already left. Napoleon took Moscow without resistance, and that same night, the Russians set the city on fire. Within days, 2/3 of Moscow had burned, leaving Napoleon and his army sitting in ruins with no food and no shelter. Meanwhile, winter was closing in,